It was supposed to have businesses, complexes, commerce. It was supposed to be this immaculate place. People lived there. You had property there. You commuting, the rail lines, all the stuff that we see now is just a fraction of what he wanted. But as soon as he died, they said, you know what? It's too ambitious. Some corporate people got together and said, you know what? Let's just make an amusement park out of it. We got Disneyland that's doing well. Let's just make Disneyland on the East Coast. And they called it Disney World. It was never supposed to be a Disney World. It was supposed to be Epcot. And you go there now, it's basically like an amusement park. They got a little Epcot, a little technology here or there, whatever, but it's not what he wanted. And so, absolutely. But the people, again, he didn't have enough people in place that shared his vision that was going to protect what he wanted. I don't know about his heirs and whatnot or what was written in. Maybe they sold out. Maybe they thought, you know what? You're crazy. You can't pull this off. But he bought the land. He bought the property. The plans, the full everything was laid out. Watch the video. It's Walt Disney presentation on Epcot. Watch it. 35 plus minutes. He breaks it down how the city was going to work. So again, Walt Disney, George Lucas, Gene Roddenberry, these were guys of vision. They had focus. They had a direction that they were going in. They were sharing a narrative. They were sharing a story. And once corporate interests or people who had their own ideas corrupted it, and now everyone's asking what happened. What happened to Epcot Center? The only vision you see of Epcot Center now, if you go into Magic Kingdom, you'll see this. So he's got like a little mural of what the city was supposed to be, and it looks like this futuristic model, whatever. But no, you don't understand. That was the city he was trying to build. And Star Wars had a future. 7, 8, and 9 was written. And he sold it under the pretense that they were going to implement his vision for what it was. As soon as the ink dried on the paper, they was like, nah, thank you very much. We're going in another direction with this. They never intended. But why did we get there in the first place? Is because the Star Wars fans ran them out. Essentially, a Frankenstein monster was created. I'm still ranting here. A Frankenstein monster was created. Dr. Frankenstein created a Frankenstein monster, which is Star Wars fans, that you killed the Dr. Frankenstein, and now the monster Frankenstein is going in another direction. So my thing is, I'm kind of bitter about this, is because, my thing is, I don't think Star Wars fans deserve it. I think you guys, what you sowed, you are now reaping. So for us who appreciated episodes 1 through 6 and Rogue One, that's Star Wars to me. And anything else that comes out of it, unless Disney decides, because I even read something recently that George might be interested in getting involved in Star Wars again. Again, I don't know how bad that is. It was something that came across my feed or whatever. Unless you're serious about doing 7, 8, and 9.
The only thing I know, it was I don't know if it was a rumor, but I'll say it's a rumor because it squashed really fast and it didn't go more than that. Well, George was looking at buying Star Wars back at one point, but it was just.
Of course not. And he admitted after he sold it. He, in an interview with Charlie Rose, he admitted, he's like, "Oh snap, I messed up." But he got tired. It was exhausting. It was trying to satisfy the public and everything. But again, when he had Star Wars, every movie that he made, you were like, "Oh snap," or the movies that were inspired, like Rogue One, you're like, "Oh snap!" The worlds that he created. The fighting sequences, when you had 4, 5, and 6 came, 1, 2, and 3 came out. Say what you want about it, it wasn't as well acted as Empire Strikes Back, whatever. The fighting sequences, Darth Maul, Luke versus Anakin versus Obi-Wan. I mean, you were like, "Oh snap!" Every movie gave you something that you popped at. And it was like, oh man, this is. But again, it was a singular story because episodes 1 through 6 is about the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Star Wars is one movie about the redemption, and even if you put Rogue One in there, it's one film. It's the redemption of Anakin Skywalker, 1 through 6. Where 7, 8, 9 were going was about Luke Skywalker, and they screwed it up.
Mm-hmm.
But the fan base, I got no love for those guys. For Star Wars Theory, I got no love for that guy. And so you guys do what you want. But if you want, can Star Wars come back from the dead? You better recognize what Star Wars is. And Star Wars is George Lucas. And if he's not involved, I don't want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah. All right. Before I get you in, David, hang on a second. All right. So I have one video I'm going to play a little bit after you go, David. Is he even admits it, George Lucas, from his mouth in one of his videos, he had up to 50 scripts he handed Disney. Here's the material for the next couple of years. So they had it, and they probably threw it right in the garbage or the shredder or in a pit file or whatever they did with it. They have the material in their hands. But of course, Disney does not listen. Like I said earlier when I first opened up, not New Hope. What was the movie's called? Force Awakens. I felt it was a soft reboot because JJ even said it in a bunch of interviews. They took a lot of ideas from New Hope. Why? That makes no fucking sense. And I hate when I hear her saying this. We have no fucking material, you goddamn moron. You're a goddamn moron. There's more than enough material out there. All right, let's get Baby Groot in here really fast. Go ahead, David.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is CBN Tech Talk, aka Black Theory, aka Bear Paw.
Go again. You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Form, blazing, middle finger. You're back again. Anyway, the whole of Anime Unlocked is almost like that I told you so. When Mr. Bennett was going in his epic classical rant, which was well deserved and well needed, there was something I have been saying about the American production arena. When someone built a beloved franchise that had a vision how they think will play out all the way through, and they sold it to a corporation engine who have no shit idea what they had in their hand, what the worst thing can happen? A whole lot of work. Remember, we talk about Knight Rider, right? Remember how they shit on that show, right? What make you think they want to do a Diddy on a Star Wars? They did way more than a Diddy on Star Wars. And yes, I said it. Here's my problem. What Mr. Bennett said is something we and Wanda have been saying on our show. The original creator of that particular franchise is the one is responsible for directing how that thing supposed to play out. What Mr. Bennett said is I can't say 1,000, I can't say 100,000. It's 1,000,000% correct. The Star Wars fan is responsible for this bullshit that happened to the Star Wars franchise. Read into it, they were totally epically ungrateful. This is why on our most recent anime podcast show, I went in for the juggler. When it comes to creativity and production in the movie industry or the TV industry, when a writer have a vision for a product and want to do it justice, and that product you put on the air ain't going well, the most logical thing to do is keep that person on as the chairperson of that particular product. But it's his vision, his idea. But whenever corporate monkeys or corporate baboons or corporate idiots think they have a better idea how to run the product, they never did. I hope people remember the epic issue with MySpace when they purchased from a particular guy who actually created, and New Corp purchased it, and that thing went downhill. You didn't build the engine. You didn't build the system. You didn't build the idea. You didn't bought it thinking you could make money off it. You know how many inventions that came in this country that corporate idiot purchased and either bury it or sabotage it or do it dirty because they had no clue what they had in their hand? Star Wars was a diamond in the rough, and the Star Wars fan turned that thing into clay. This is why I always believe the fan and the audience would never know better than the creator himself. So, because of what Mr. Bennett said, that being said, I'm sorry, Wally, but that creator and writer of the manga known as Bleach has every right to tell the fan to go epically eat yourself and make your own shit. Mr. Bennett finally get it. Because what the point of me creating something and put it on the air and y'all love it, you don't tell me how I'm supposed to do it. No, no, no. Your job is to enjoy what I'm putting out there and follow it through and see where it will take you. Not you trying to tell me how I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z with the create. You didn't create the character. I did. Do you know how many sleepless nights, weeks, months on end trying to get this idea? Do you know how many years it has taken me to build something? And to hear that he had more than several scripts and gave it to Disney and with enough material to last for a who knows what for the franchise. And they used it for toilet paper wipe? Yes, I say that. Because it's a Black David, aka Bear Paw speaking. I'm not playing games up in here. This is why I have an issue with creativity on this freaking soil. You effed up my favorite show, Knight Rider. You effed up many other shows that a lot of us grew up in, and you put your nonsense on it. The fact that Voltron is another example, when you put a lot of Wokeism BS in up, like, you serious? Can we stick to the original storytelling so we can enjoy the journey instead of you putting your 2 cents, which is not effing needed? And Mr. Bennett, remember we talked about this before. I said if you want to recreate, you might have to start off with a whole new cast of actors. You can't use the old actors no more. They're done and over. If you want to save this franchise, I'll take script number one from Mr. Bennett. George Lucas should be on top of everything, from the production to the direction to how it then put to play out. That is number one. Number two, I could care less. You bitch and more and cry like a baby, you get therapy. You need to do the whole thing with a new roster of cast. And you know why I say that? Because me and Wally talk about behind the scenes. Look at Harry Potter. Why do you think Harry Potter was so successful? They started with the first movie, they make sure they did all the way through to the very last of the franchise. Is it not so? What about Lord of the Rings? Hmm. We all know it took these people a year to produce that movie. Take a little break and go back and do another year to produce another movie. Take a little break and go back again, do another year to produce. And it was successful, racking an award left and right. Consistency. I think that what I think that's what the problem we have in today's movie industry and TV industry. No one have any idea how to make great shows, how to make great movies, how to take the time to plot things out without with your corporate BS. Talk about, I want you to put this. No, we don't need that element. You could do with that element like The Rock. Turn that sideways, shine that sucker, and stick it right up in your candy asses. That is the issue here. Now, before I came on, me and Rob were talking about how Netflix just won the bidding for Warner Brothers, and there's a list of stuff Netflix going to take over. Interesting. Yeah, they bought Warner Brothers.
I know. I said at the beginning of the show, they're not taking over. They're taking not only isn't official yet. The paperwork hasn't even typed up the paperwork yet because they have to go through a lot of legal shit. But
I
they're
know.
not going to just get rid of shit. They're just going to move everything over. From what I understand, they're not. It's not official yet.
I know, but knowing how Netflix operates, they're trying to expand their infrastructure. This is why
Netflix is killing it right now, dude.
What? Excuse me.
Netflix is killing it. I will stick to my comment.
And I will say this again. Netflix have been too far ahead of the game for more than a decade. This is why I said what I said.
We're agreeing on it. There's
I know.
10
I know. I know.
ways.
I think this why I said what I said. As a techie, Mr. Bennett understood this when we saw how Netflix first came out and destroyed Blockbuster with their vision. Everybody slept on Netflix, thinking what they're doing it was not going to work until they realized the demographic that Netflix have reached on a global scale. Now, all of a sudden, all the major news networks want to do the same exact thing that Netflix did, but Netflix already built the foundation solid to support what they were doing. The only issue is, what I saw the documentary a couple of times, it's all about licensing agreement. How long they can have access to that products. How long that product can stay on their network, on their server. That always have been the case. And I get it. I want to get my son because he's taking advantage of me when I'm on the podcast. He's trying to give me the joke thing. So I will get my son after the show is over. And if you hear him screaming, he deserves it. Anyway, the issue with what I'm seeing right now is this. With Star Wars, question I'm going to ask you, is it going to be under the Disney network? If not, it need to leave. Go somewhere else. And we know I'm saying that.
Unfortunately,
No, we know I'm saying that it's not a sidetrack thing. They did not realize a particular market is whooping their ass. So much to the point that they trying to join in, aka Japanese animation. If you didn't know, Disney had a own version of that Japanese animation trying to join into the market that have been whooping their ass for decades now. They see the money they're bringing in on a global scale, and they cannot compete. And bring it to the thought right here. If you want to, how we want to put it, clear, raise the dead, aka called Star Wars franchise. Like Mr. Bennett said, you chase down Dr. Frankenstein from the mountain to the valley. He's somewhere in the valley hidden for everybody else.
now
But
let me
here's
ask
the
you a
problem.
question really fast, David. Do
Go
you
ahead.
think the prequels and all those the shows that came out recently damaged Star Wars so bad that they cannot ever come back?
The prequels or the sequels?
The sequel, the new movies. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question. Did Joe Logan had his hand on it?
No,
There you go. There go your answer.
that's not my answer. My question: do you think it's damaged to the point that they cannot recover from it?
Of course they couldn't. It wasn't Joe Logan's vision to begin with.
Hmm.
You see why we did that thing about manga versus comic books?
Hmm.
There wasn't no person who created Superman. There wasn't no created Batman. No one stick to the same narrative. Everybody coming in and bring their own 2 cents on the old version. When you have too many versions of BS. Meaning how you say you have 2 minute chief, no Indian in the kitchen? You made a screw up version of potato salad.
That's called chicken shit.
Bingo. And that's what we had coming out from Disney. The original creator who was still alive, who created that vision, had no say on how they did it. So what makes you think it will be related to the actual vision? It's been beyond damage. This is what we and Wally on the Enemy Unlocked have been trying to explain about originality. But on our also we could complain about how the person who created this particular franchise, their health is deteriorated because of too much work they put into it. It is a trend in the anime community that people who are manga and anime creators, they stress themselves beyond their physical capacity to create such a great franchise for people to love, but they don't take care of their damn health to begin with. Because they are day and night trying their hard to put out a great product, and if they consistent to the point where they come to that, they do it, you should take a break. Take a 2 or 3 month break. We call for you come back and you continue. One Piece, 25 years since 1999. We'll take a first big break in 3 months starting next year until March. 25 years. One person. That's a big deal.
And just to augment what you're saying, people forget. And again, especially these Star Wars fans, like I said, I can't tell you my disgust with these folks. People don't get the sacrifice that George had to make. He basically made the movie by himself. Empire Strikes Back, he financed. He struck a deal with Kenner to get the marketing distributions for the toy base because they didn't think it was going to go do well, and they said sure. So he made a ton of money through the toys and the merch. But again, studios after the success of Star Wars, they were trying to say, "Hey, can you do it like this?" It's like, no, I want full creative control. And Empire Strikes Back was basically made. He didn't direct it. Again, he trusted Irvin Kershner with the direction of it, but he financed most of that on his own. He gambled on himself twice. First with Star Wars, and then he gambled again with Empire Strikes Back, despite the worldwide phenomena that Star Wars was. And studios still weren't happy. They were trying to say, you need to do X, Y, Z. He said, no, I want full creative control. He financed Empire Strikes Back basically by himself. Took his money that he made from it, and he went all in. And to this day, people still think Empire Strikes Back is the best film in the Star Wars franchise. So again, people forget. It's like you aren't, so all these fans who got all these ideas, you have no idea what the man, not only for the creative that he did, but the business, the financial sacrifices that he did to make this thing go.
And I'm glad you said that right now, Mr. Bennett, because if it also connects the other story that we did a month ago, how the original creator who wrote the script, that a particular studio broke into two pieces and make Terminator and The Matrix, when it was actually supposed to be all in one script. Here's what I have an issue with people who take people's original idea and think you know better. No, you do not. You never know better. You never have, and you never will. This is why I have a much bigger respect for the Japanese movie production, anime production, TV production. If you write something and that thing makes sense and it do well, they rather have you push the vision than somebody else who had nothing to do with that creation to push the vision. But over here, where most companies practice the Diddy blueprint, because they teach Diddy how to do it, like to school people over, take their ideas, think you could. No, you can never do better because you're full of shit. You destroy a franchise, and it's not the only one they destroyed. There's many others that were they destroyed on the U.S. soil. You put the wrong director who have no business directing, and you wonder why the thing flopped. This is why I say what I say.
I'll be honest with you, David. Ever since Disney's been buying all these different studios and different IPs, they've been killing every major good IP out there. I haven't seen a good one, anything survive with the Disney. Disney's like the Satan of movies.
According to what Mr. Bennett said, the original person who created Disney was afraid that the people on the board of directors not gonna follow his vision, which they did not.
Yeah, I actually just looked up as you were talking and when Paul was talking, if any of the Walt Disney family members is still in the company in shape, way, or form. Nobody from that is in there anymore.
Not surprised. Look at WWE. Who is real blood running WWE right now? Among the Mr. Man bloodline,
Nobody.
no one.
But technically, if you ask his son-in-law, he's kind of like he kind of fucked himself into that business.
Thank you, Eric. MCU is a shining example of what David said.
That's another
Like,
example.
look-
When
look-
Disney bought the Marvel IPs, it went down shit storm. I mean, it was doing very well. The last good movie was Endgame.
This is why here's the problem. We live in a society where the people higher up expect you to be dumb and retarded and take over dumb bullshit that they give you, so you put the money back in their pocket, even though it's a piece of shit. They want you to pay for shit. And when you don't want to pay for shit, they want to punish you for it. This is what I'm sorry. If I go by for sin and I go by it, I'm being bluntly honest here.
I think one of the
They
problems
have
right now, David, is Disney has so many IPs. They don't know how to run all those stuff.
no. It's not about being so many IPs.
I think so.
Mr. Bennett, no, Mr. Bennett, you understand what I'm going to say when I say this. Here's the problem is we have corporate execs who don't like competition, but they feel the best way to win the competition is by all your IP and have on but let's do it their way, even though they have no clue what the hell they're doing to begin with. This happen across the board in multiple arenas. If it's not happening in the movie production, it's happening in the TV production. If it's not happening in the TV production, it's happening in sport. Either be basketball, either be football, either be soccer. Some people who are not familiar with the business think they know better than the person who built the business.
So, Paul, let me ask you a quick
And me
question.
and me and Ben have been in what we call the backbone arena. When we call backbone, when we talk about IT is the backbone arena of multiple corporations. We see some of the things that take place and some of the protocol they want to push, but when we're knowledgeable about what we see, we're not allowed to give our expert opinion, even though it's objective. Our job is to do what they said and not tell them what they should do. So why you think they did that to George Lucas with his IP? Disney think they know better than everybody else who build genuine IP that have massive fan base, but then they could do a better idea. But when have they ever taken week, month, or year to build a script on their goddamn self instead of buying somebody else's property? Am I wrong, Mr. Bennett?
Nope.
So you want to take people hard work and act like you did it?
All right,
That's the American.
let's take a deep breath, a second,
That is
David,
American.
because I'm like, you have to give other people talk too. So, Paul, let me ask you a question, because what you said earlier about the fan base, would you ever be against? And I think I know the answer to this already, but I want to hear from you. A hardcore fan or some type of fan, maybe a fan like me and you, not a hardcore fan, but like we know the material. You would be against running Star Wars?
Again, I that'd be a hard question to answer because, quite frankly, I don't know the material. I think, again, if I'm running things, my first executive order is, George, what will it take for you to come back?
Mhm.
George, where are the scripts?
I agree with that.
That's it. I mean, to me, that's the only decision and the most logical decision that needs to be made. This isn't rocket science in terms of how you get Star Wars back on track. But the guy's like, what, 82 years old now? I mean, how much time does he have?
If he even wants to come back, the question is.
Again, I'm saying George.
Yeah,
Full
George, I'm talking
creative.
about.
You got full creative. However you want this thing to go. If you don't want to direct, pick your director that you want. Pick the storylines that you want to see implemented. You're the creative head.
producer.
You own this. But again, corporate is rare to ever want to admit that they're wrong. They don't want it. They never want to cede power, and which is, at the end of the day, what it's about is power.
Mhm.
And so it's not like that. But if you're gonna do a Thanos snap and say, okay, I'm running Star Wars, my first executive action, get on the phone, George, I'm flying to Skywalker Ranch, and we're gonna have a discussion. And I'm like, here are your properties and whatnot. We want you to run this. I'll put it in writing. Name your price, how much you want per year, salary or stocks or whatever you want. And what stories, 7, 8, 9, is it ready? Whatever. Let's dust those off and let's see what we want to do with these. But I think he needs to be, unless, now again, this is unfortunately for Disney as well. You have to have a succession plan. And this is what most artists fail to do. So so if I was going to have some pushback on George, you have to have, any artist, if you want your work to continue into perpetuity, you have to have a succession plan. And the people who you rock with, you got to be training. This is really what this also gets down to, and I've talked about this on other shows. It's totally, it's kind of related to this, but parenting. Most parents are not trying to train their successors.
True.
They still want to be the parent. But a true parent trains their successor to be better than them, to have all the information and all the intel in order to succeed them. It's just like the lions in the wild. Yeah, you got to cover, when the lion grows up, so two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to take this thing over or going to kick the old lion out. Yes, Dad, I know you love me and everything, but the young must go on. That is biology 101.
I think I read somewhere his son, Jeff Lucas, he was probably interested of taking over eventually one day if he didn't sell it.
Okay, but again, that had to be, look, as a parent, especially in his position, because I know with Star Wars and everything, I know he's married twice or whatever. When you know this thing is big, that's got to go into your parenting. I think a lot of times, some of these parents or whatnot, they're like, look, I want my kid to have a normal life, and I don't want them to be worried about Star Wars or that you're George Lucas' son or daughter or whatever, and you just want them to be regular. Well, I'm sorry. It's like, if you look at dynasties, if you look at corporations, you got, especially in Europe, you got corporations that have gone on for generations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hundreds of, like, some of these wineries, some of these European companies. I mean, even going back to the Rothschilds.
For example, Sony, when years, I'm not sure about now.
But Sony's not where it was. Sony was number one brand for decades. It's not anymore. In fact, I sent you guys a video about what happened to Japan and what happened to, like, Sony and all these companies and whatnot. Again, when you don't have succession plan.
Yeah.
And what happens a lot of times is that the old guys want to stay in charge for so long. They never prepare the next generation to take over. As a parent, you should be preparing your kids to take over from you, to be better than you, especially if you want them to take care of you in your old age, They better be prepared. But if you're still boss, that's why I hate it. If you're a 60-year-old parent, you're bossing your 40-year-old child like you still the parent. That's a problem. You did not create a successor. You created a dependent who's afraid to go out on their own and do things in the manner you give them the values and the teachings and whatnot, but then you allow them to go forward. Vince McMahon never prepared Stephanie and Sheen to be successors. And now you see where the company is.
Facts.
So again, this has been repeated time and time again. A lot of rich people, their kids never succeed them.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids
All
are drug
let's
addicts,
get Wally
and
here a
they're this and that. How many rich people you know their kids are strung out?
Too many.
Because you never got them, because you never prepared them.
All right.
You got to be a parent.
Let's get Wally in here really fast.
Wally.
Wally, what's going on, my man? Wally?
Okay, well, now that's over with. What can I say? Well, where are we in the conversation?
Where we're not, the question is. So Paul is arguing the fact that George Lucas never had a successor to take over the company. That's what his argument statement is right now.
Well, did he had a partner as far as creating the Star Wars thing?
I don't
AKA
think so,
a second man behind him?
I won't say no, actually.
Well, then, yeah, he didn't have a successor. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if he did. I'm not saying that information. I'm not sure. So I'm going to say no for right now.
Well, successor or no successor, either which way, it is not like anyone bought the successor in to help maintain Star Wars. So, regardless, if there is one or if there wasn't one, it don't matter. But yeah, I mean, as far as successorship and someone taking over the new leaf and taking over the next ride of the continuity of said Star Wars, I mean, as far as the overall topic, right? Can Star Wars come back from the dead? Sure, it can. All you have to do is just hit the red button. Hit the red button. That is all you have to do. Just hit the red button.
And what does that red button do, Ellie?
It's called hit it with a nice reset.
So
You know how you play a video game and you hit the reset button? You hit the reset button. And you start it all over again. Because honestly, now a lot of people may think, well, I have a saved cartridge. I have it saved right here. Yeah, guess what? The type of work that you were talking about that they stopped that. Yeah. I don't know who out there is messing with that, but no.
So Wally, I looked up. Yes, George Lucas did have his partner in Lucasfilm. It was actually his wife. Was his partner in Lucasfilm.
Right, the wife. So equally the wife. Then now it says it. So from that standpoint, I'll say this. Okay, it's the wife. So him, the wife. Okay, so who's behind that? Because let's be honest, the wife is out the door right behind him. My point exactly. So again, Paul's right.
Oh, I'm never really saying he wasn't right.
Can I jump into this part?
No.
Go ahead.
I
I want to add to what you're just saying, Wally.
Right.
Before, when he sold the IP and the right to Disney, right? Did they invite him over to continue to work on the product, or they got somebody else to work on it?
See, that's what goes down when you call signing a nice contract to stay on board. You didn't fight for that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So if he wasn't staying on board, or they didn't let him stay on board, I hate to tell you, Mr. Bennett, based on that contract clause, how will George Lucas have a successor when Disney would epically cop blocking it with no grease and no Vaseline? So who will be a successor of an epic screw up that Disney did upon to come back and clean it? No, that doesn't go to a black hole. No, the VKM syndrome is massive. It's on multiple corporations. But what I'm saying right now is this: When you talk about successor, how can it be a successor when he signed it and you thought you know better than George Lucas? We never invite him in to continue. You closed the door on him. So who will success a vision when no one allowed to work on it who actually part of the creative team? That make any sense? Because I don't see how that's gonna work. It's like you tell, okay, you bought the thing for Joe Lucas, you send Joe Lucas home. We don't contact for any idea or directive. We do it our own way. He gave us script. We took the script and told it to toilet wipes. Wipe their ass with it. You knew our own script, like you know better than he does. And the whole thing go a complete different direction from the original vision, from the creator created. And this has been going on for how long? A decade and a half or 2 decades? Am I correct, Mr. Bennett?
Yeah.
So when that is happening, within the 2 decades, how can you bring a successor to a vision that you don't have access to?
You don't.
He's
No,
right.
thank you, Wally. So when I said what I said, and Wally did technical version, aka the Super Nintendo version, red buttons, I meant what I said, but here's the problem. All the actors have been on the old versions, can never allow to come back. If you're gonna do a hard reset, I promise you, it's not gonna be an easy process. And I like what the better idea if you were the executive. First and foremost, I'll do extra. Go to Joe Lucas Ranch, get on the couch, beg him, apologize to him. We effed up. We need you to fix this. What you need, we'll give it to you. We want to hire, we hire for you. You need a whole new cast, you want a whole new scouting team? Let him do it his way only.
Again, but that's a Thanos thing because again, corporations don't allow it. It's
I know
the
corporate
corporate
don't allow. All they
culture
do,
is such because again, also to do some of this stuff, you got to be willing to take a loss before you take a win.
Disney's already losing, bro.
And corporate, I'm just saying, but it's not out of plan. Like no corporation says that we're gonna take a loss. Like no, that's why a lot of companies why they fail is because they don't invest in themselves. Like you got companies that have been running for a while, they're getting old, they're getting stale. New companies are coming up. I've never heard, and I've worked in corporate almost 40 years, and nobody ever says it's like, you know what? We need to redo and reinvent ourselves or whatnot. So we got to take some money, possibly billions of dollars, to rebrand and reshape this company. Because when you take money out to invest in the company, even though it's good for the lifelong health of the company, no company thinks in 5 and 10-year visions anymore because it's all about the stock market. Because if you're a shareholder, you want to make money every quarter.
you hit it on the nail.
But you have to realize if you take capital investment and put it into a company, your margins are going to be smaller because of the investment that you made. And stock, you buy stock to make money. They're not interested in whether or not your long-term vision of there is no 5-year plan in corporate that a lot of corporations can get away with. It happens, but again, it doesn't happen at the rate that it should. And that your ideas get too stale, and then you realize, you know what, we're getting past, and someone gets the market share and whatnot, and you're old news. Because again, the way the stock market works is not meant. Now, if you're a private company, that's a different rule. You can do anything you want. You can take a step back. Because George, he invested. Not only did he invest his own money, he had to create the technologies to allow some of the special effects to happen the way they happen. But he took that on himself because the studios wouldn't. It was like, you spending how much on Star Wars? Oh, we're not. He said, fine, don't give me any money. Just give me distribution rights and give me the licensing for the merch, and I'll finance the film. He did it with Star Wars. He did it with Empire. So again, the corporate structure doesn't support it.
The corporate
Well,
structure is a vampire.
forget
Like what I get
But I want to go. I want to
to
go back. Hang on, before we do that, because Eric, he's had 3 ideas, that he had for where Star Wars can go, right?
Okay.
He talked about Splinter in the Mind's Eye, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, takes place between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. So it would be basically a Star Wars story, just like Rogue One was, just like the Solo story, Solo, a story was. Then he talks about Shadows of the Empire, which was a great graphic novel. This was after the defeat of the Empire. The Emperor creates these clones and whatnot. Luke almost flirts with the dark side, almost turns to the dark side. It was a great story. And then the last one he talked about, again, the Thrawn trilogy. Again, I'm sure that's another property that you might be able to go with. Again, each one of those, though, exists within the Lucas ethos. It's within the world because he approved all that. Again, Splinter in the Mind's Eye couldn't have been written without George Lucas's approval. Now I don't know if that was under Del Rey Publishing or whatever all those Star Wars books that came out in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even 2000s. Del Rey Publishing was pretty much behind all of that. The Rise of Darth Vader, which is probably my favorite book out of all the books that came out. Again, that had to be approved. It had to fit. If you wanted George's approval, he had to greenlight your efforts. He wasn't opposed to people taking the Star Wars universe into other areas, but it had to fit into his world. So these 3 properties clearly fit into his world. You don't necessarily have to do a reset. But again, it still fits with what we've been saying all night. George has to be involved. And certainly because he gave these blessings on these projects, you could go there. But I think if you really want to kind of really reawaken it, I think you need to bring 7. I would say redo 7, 8, and 9.
I was going to say you might have to do a soft reboot a little bit from 7 and up.
Yeah, I would start there versus going back, because if they did, then again, it wouldn't matter, because it would be like anything that you produce, people would go for it because they know it's within the George Lucas ethos. But I think the trust has been broken.
Oh, absolutely.
And you need to build that back. And I don't think personally, I know what Eric is talking about, but I don't think you can rebuild the trust with those 3. Those extended stories, but the main root has been broken. And until you build that back, these other properties that are kind of coming off of that, I don't know if they're going to come off as well. My personal opinion, but I definitely understand what he's saying. But it's what we've been saying all night.
No,
George has to be, and his ideas in his world has to be front and center if they want to bring it back. It can't be someone else who has these ideas.
And let me give you a slight pushback. To fix the Star Wars issue, it does not require a soft reboot. It requires a hard reboot.
You can't do that with Star Wars, dude. You cannot do
No,
that. You're going to get death threats.
No.
Everyone said
hold
that
on,
we
hold
can't
on.
do.
Hold on.
I'm gonna actually agree with David. Okay, everyone said that you can't hit us. You can't do it with Star Wars. But why we do it with DC every single time? Why do we do it with Marvel every single time? You do it with this every single time, but we can't do it with Star Wars? Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
hold on.
I don't know if those are great examples, Wally, because Marvel and DC, like Peter said earlier, after Endgame, Marvel's been horrible. So where's the reboot there with Disney? With DC? Where's the they've been coming out with horrible stuff. So that might have worked for a while, but they lost their mojo somewhere.
But here's the reason why I say that. Think about it. There's a reason why I say what I said. I'm not being blindsided when I say this.
Oh, no. Nobody's saying that.
It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to say it. But my thing is, either way, if I hit you with something, you say, okay, let's say like in general, just not all like separate projects, but just as far as the big main project. Okay, if you told me Avengers at this point hit and they're kissing going, even though at this point towards that point it just died out, or however, you cut it by the neck. But the thing is, here's the thing: Star Wars is a big overall project, and you're more likely looking at one person or another person based upon the section of story within the story that they're building through amongst that person that their vocal point is on. But the whole universe is still that of the whole universe where everyone plays a part. At the end of the day, regardless of the vocal person that you're focusing on or wherever you are in the story lineup, neither past, present, or past, future, or in present. Eventually, you have to sit here and say, well, this is the whole universe. Here's the map layout. And this is where it's been great. And this is where it got fucked. This is where most people say cringe-worthy work. Okay, you can hit the soft reboot and say script the cringe-worthy work. But then, to my point, what I'm agreeing with David is, now let's look at how much years it's been. You're really telling me you're gonna put these guys into the row and all this? All I'm saying is, when you breach to a point of a new era of television, eventually it's like you want to see something a little bit more fresher. And that's why I'm saying, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think Star Wars had that leeway, respectable leeway, because I'm not saying like, oh, it will be a bad thing to hit the reset. But I'm saying is, unlike Marvel and DC that hit multiple resets off of just whims, because, this was just this, or this was that, or this was this, or this. Y'all just hit reset buttons just for nothing, because you have no background of ever doing something plausible. And this is why I say most of the DC Marvel stuff, you're better off doing as TV series, because those you can't fuck with most of the times. You really can't. Like, you tell me someone's TV series that you would think that needs to be resetted, I'll probably argue, maybe not. And technically, did they reset it a little bit? Yeah, because what? They started with Smallville. They flipped that over because of, you know what? Now we got what? Green Arrow side of the story. We got Flash. We got Supergirl. Even though they were all different universes, that were eventually going to mold into one, which...
that bombed, we know. But with Marvel, they never did a hard reset yet. They only have done a soft reboot with the universe. And that's how they go around that.
But my thing is, they didn't really even do a soft reboot. How they got around it was when they start pushing everybody together. Think about this. Iron Man was nice to a certain point. But I ain't gonna lie, the choke point, there was eventually a choke point with it. Why? Because just the storytelling of certain villains. I'm like, no. Because when I see in your your animation version versus when in the movies, I was like,
I'll give you this. Iron Man 3 wasn't one of the worst from the Iron Man series. Personal opinion, of course.
Who was the villain in Iron Man 3?
Oh man, I can't remember the guy.
Well, it was supposed to be the Mandarin, but he found out it was an actor, and then there was the guy who was the absorb the heat or whatever. I forget.
Right. But no, and that's what I said. There's a choke point, because notice the Mandarin in an animation version of Iron Man was way more deadlier than what.
Oh, he was the most powerful villain he had,
and that's why I'm saying that. And that's what I'm saying. They did a reset on that by bringing the other characters together, because singularly they were choking, literally.
And this is why I say what I said, because when I gave the example of Lord of the Rings, the producer, the director who did Lord of the Rings, and I don't think people noted that there were two versions of the movies. There was the regular version and there was the director cut. I got the director cut CD. And I realized there was far more content. The director himself, they said they spent a whole year to produce one section of the movie. Took a break, went back and continued with the same cast, so that they don't miss the vision. So if you want to repair or do Star Wars, you will have to take the same idea from the producer of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and do the same exact thing. But what you may have to do is get a new set of cast who is willing to grow up with the franchise, which is similar to what the what is it? Not The Hobbit. What do we call it?
Talking about Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. That lady did a master class. She got the cast that she need that will do the whole entire franchise from start to finish. And let's be real, the movie franchise never failed, did it? Yes or no? Tell me the truth.
Well, the movie,
The Harry Potter
first
franchise
three
never
movies.
failed.
Hang on, David. I'm answering your question before you cut me
Okay.
off again. The
Sorry?
first three movies were great. Hobbit was one of the worst movies in a franchise. The show was the worst show ever. There's your answer.
The show, okay.
First,
Well,
the first
overall-
three movies: Fellowship, not Twin Tower, Two Towers. Is it right? Am I mistaken?
No, I'm talking about Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter. I think they're horrible. All of them.
The whole thing was horrible.
Whole thing is fucking horrible. I think it was the books were different versus the movie. I
Because
read the books.
maybe it was horrible on the US side, but it was great on the UK side.
If
Lord
it
of the Rings,
makes sense
I
to
mean,
you,
it wasn't
you
horrible
can't
on
hate
the,
it.
it wasn't horrible on this side either. I wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah.
because Lord of the Rings was not horrible from the first, second, or third. It was
Yeah,
done.
I'm agreeing with that, David. I'm agreeing 100%. I think the first three Lord of the Rings movie was a masterpiece. I'll say that out loud. But when it went back to the Hobbit stuff,
Mhm.
I watched it once and I will never watch it ever again. It makes no
The
sense.
Ho-
The story is
understand about the Hobbit
confusing.
part.
It makes no sense.
I don't think about the Hobbit part, because the Hobbit part, it wasn't the same cast with the Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit part was a prequel. And they should have done
of
it
course it's not
first.
going to be the same cast. Like you said, it's a prequel. So different people are going to be in it. I didn't
They should have
expect
done
that.
it.
And that's the other thing. That's what I'm saying, because it's always gonna be different, because you're gonna always do like past visual practice.
And
Correct. I
in my,
agree with that.
and in my own way, the Hobbit should have been done first before they did the Lord of the Rings.
But David, how much times have we seen where people do something where they do more so of the standard and then they do past tense every single time?
I know.
It's
it
not
happened.
the point of if they do. My thing is this: I don't have a problem with past tense because everyone does it anyways. My thing is, does it collide with the main product? And if so, how long does it take to collide with the main product? That's the main thing.
And we also understand how the American production operates. When they don't allow you to go how you want to do it, they'll tell you, "Oh, they do this for this thing do well, then we're allowed to do that one." That has always have been the case.
But that goes back to what you were saying with the Harry Potter movies, David. There's a lot of material in the books. I read the first couple ones when I had to do a book. My teacher forced us to write a paper on it. But the books were one thing, and Paul is going to back me up on this. And he said it before: books are one thing, movies are one thing, right, Paul?
That's always true across the board, even with mangas.
I agree 100%. And I understand a lot of things wasn't. And so the books were good books. It's not my cup of tea because I'm not into that black magic bullshit. That's my personal opinion. But those movies, they're toilet paper for me. I'll be straight up. I never went, oh my God, I gotta go cinema. Paul, let's go run to the movie. No, I don't give a shit about those movies. Like, if you were going excited, like, I didn't ever care a fuck about them.
I feel you, because that's the thing when I felt like the Twilight franchise.
That's
I
another
never
one.
liked Twilight.
I didn't like that one either. I didn't bother. I didn't give
See,
time.
I like that one personally, but
I like Twilight, but I just didn't like the back and forth fling thing. That shit bothered the crap out of me.
There are
Like,
bunch of
seriously,
movies-
it's like, pick one, bitch. Pick the werewolf and pick the fucking vampire. Like, Lord have mercy.
And Wally has a great point there. There are a lot of movies that I may like, and you may not. And that's why it's a risky thing about rebooting Star Wars. Because Star Wars
And
doesn't have this hang on, David. Hang on. This ultimate universe, you can like, okay, let's switch gears. Let's go to Universe 2.0. Versus with Marvel, you can go Universe 2, 3, 6, 99, 80, whatever, like they're doing now. They know they fucked up after Endgame, and they did a horrible movies afterwards. Even the last Fantastic Four, it wasn't a bad movie. I'll be honest with you guys. It was a decent movie, but it wasn't a up to level what we were used to.
No,
Like,
here's the problem. Here's the problem with
let me
that.
finish. I liked all the movies up to Endgame. The only one I would give a little shit to, it was Iron Man 3. Now you can have the floor.
Now, here where I'll explain why that was not going to work. The person who wrote the book and the script for the Star Wars franchise was one person only, George Lucas, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
In the DC and the Marvel universe, we had multiple writers making different versions of the particular character. So if you're gonna do a complete reboot, what you're asking for, based on your understanding, based on your perspective, is, is to do a version 2.0, is to rewrite the whole entire franchise. Now,
Correct.
who had the exact vision and time to do such a thing? Who would consider be, like Mr. Bennett said, as a successor? Because George Lucas built it on his own, and that vision, according to the book, the material, unless you find someone who have, I don't know, 3 years of their time to read through everything and trying to rewrite and rebuild a newer version of that, I wish that person the very best of luck. Because when you're not the original creator of that particular vision, and you say, let's do a version 2.0, you're repeating what Marvel and DC is suffering from. A
Well,
downside of creativity. Because when you try to do multiple versions of a franchise, it gets, we always say, too many chiefs, no Indian.
Not only they get
Make the
stale, Dave,
disco.
it's this thing called what is the word I'm looking for? When you put they get shit, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. Fatigue.
But who will rewrite everything from start to finish what Joe Lucas created? This is not no simple task.
And
That's
I'm
why I
agreeing with you with
said,
that one.
it never
that's
is.
why I said, you do a hard reboot, you got to do a whole new cast of characters to start from the beginning again.
Mhm.
Instead of
real quick,
rewriting,
David, let me
instead of
come in
rewriting.
real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me
Go
come
ahead.
into what you're saying, because this is what I'm saying, right? Cause let me add this point, because it looks like this is how we're divided on, right? Because on one hand, for you guys, you're gonna say no hard reboot, because that's just like a waste. Where David said go for a reboot. Here's my balance, because even if you were to take the lather of the movies and or TV shows off and strip them off and say, okay, let's put a 2.0. From the guys that actually already played the movie, all the characters, are they willing to come back? That's one thing. Because my things at this point, if they're not willing to come back, or pick and choose, however it is, based upon timing, whatever other deals they have, however it is, right? If they're not willing to come back, you already fuck on that point. I'm not saying that they won't, though. Go ahead.
So one thing, the Mark Hub or Harold, whatever his name is, he probably will come back. He loves Star Wars IPs to do them.
Come
Now,
back and do what?
No, I'm saying, because towards the point of wherever you would say you would rip off a majority of the work that just was not George Lucas, that tell off or whatever point, right? If you strip that off, for those characters that would come back and play those re-rolls and re-roll a different story under George Lucas, if the project would be took back by him, I'm saying, okay, you said you would do a soft reboot. Okay, if you did the soft reboot, would those characters come back to reiterate what was trying to be pushed out?
And that's why
these guys are in their 70s. I mean, what are you talking about? Doing the de-aging, the CGI stuff, and
No, I'm just saying, with the characters that were in there, would they come back? Because if not, then that's where I'm sitting here saying I would hit the hard reboot. Because if they're not, then you already missed out on characters like that, and then you bring in some new ones.
Harrison Ford, he hated his role as with Han Solo. That's why when he came back, he says, "The only way I'm doing this if you kill me off."
Well,
and so he's out. With
Leia,
he
didn't want to be in Return of the Jedi, so he was.
He fucking hated the IP completely. Yeah. Like obviously, Princess Leia
passed away. He didn't want to be there.
No,
he hated it.
No, that's why. No, the original in Empire Strikes Back, the original thing was he wanted to be killed off. He did not want to do anymore. Because also keep in mind at that time, he was going to another franchise. Raiders of the Lost Ark came out in '81, and that was
so he wanted his character to kill
Star
off.
Wars like he did his 2 movies, and he wanted to be out. But then with the success, they brought him back for 1 more.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's no problem. But
that
that's
just
what I'm
proved my
saying.
point.
So 2 out of 3 actors won't come back. Now with like, and I'll back up Paul. There are up there in age. They're gonna have
But
to
that's my
recast.
but see, but that goes back to what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, if those actors that didn't want to be quote unquote were to come back, my whole point is just look at that. Because the time that's been off and them being in play, they already up in age.
Because think
Yeah.
about it. Let me give a perfect
So-
example. When they did Bad Boys, Bad Boy 1, Bad Boy 2, and the last 2 Bad Boy, you see the gap between the year they do these movies?
That's a different franchise. You're talking about a whole
No,
different IP now.
I hear the different franchise, but I want to understand something. I'm looking from a creative standpoint of if I want to be a producer or director. Ageism matter. You're dealing with cast. When you want to do a soft reboot on a particular role, as you were saying before, the question you gotta ask, based on the roster of character of that particular whatever part of the movie or whatever part of the franchise want to rehash, if they're not available, you are screwed.
The only person, like I said, who's willing to come back is Mark, who played Luke Skywalker, because he
He's
still
like
loves the
75 years
character.
old,
I'm
that's
sorry?
one person.
and he's like 75.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing one bit. You're 100% right, Paul. He's up there in age, but he still likes going out dressing up as
Oh, no
Skywalker.
question. No, he
I mean,
embraces.
look, and I would be perfectly fine if he came back. Fine, I have no problem with him coming back and he trained the next Jedi or something. That's cool. But that's the point. And you only saying one character. What about the rest of them? Like, literally, this is what
So
I'm
if you go back and read the original books, Ben was actually Luke's first son, not Leia's and Solo's.
And this is why I said what I said, that a hard boot is required. Because there is no point from a creator point of view, from a producer point of view, from a director point of view, to rely on old actors to rehash certain character again when the time have already passed. This is why I mentioned Bad Boy franchise. America have an issue of doing timely sequel when it need to be, and they wait too damn long to the point whereby it becomes troublesome. This is why the
Maverick is a good example.
this is why the Japanese industry are whooping American ass in that aspect of it.
But let's be honest though, CBN. But David, even though with that same sets, yes, they're whooping that ass, but that's comes with a price because now we'll look at their health. The problem is with American continuity is they have a whole team, yet all this with a whole team, and you can't even get the production as fast as it should be. Whereas someone that's by themselves and then have the editors amongst the studio, they're doing way more work than you, and they're suffering.
Wally had a good point there, and they hear they have a union and laws. They say they can't only work so many hours, so many this, so many that. They don't have a union over in Japan like that.
And I totally get that part. This is why I mentioned the Lord of the Rings franchise. When they did the Lord of the Rings, they had that crew for a good 3 year plus together to work on 3 projects within a year each. You may have to do the same exact thing with the Star Wars franchise, meaning there had to be a contract signed that this is how we're going to build this thing. We're going to build
All right.
these
Sorry, go ahead.
projects. And when we're done with one project, the limited amount of break we have is 3 months. Allow you to breathe before we come back, and we'll continue on the next project. This way, there's not too much of a gap in between the project and production. When the first movie comes out, the next movie should come out in less than 2 years, and do the same thing with the next movie and the next. Because by the time you finish all the projects, y'all taking a break, y'all chilling, y'all relaxing. And all you do when needed is go out there to promote the movie, while the first 2 is racking up the pay to cover for everything, and you keep doing that way. This way, no one missed a beat, and that franchise do what needs to be done. I get about the working of hour and time and union, but when you negotiate a proper contract, and like Mr. Bennett said, you make a proper investment, you end up producing great movie. Lord of the Rings was racking a lot of money when they did those 3 projects, and they did it timely.
I mean, I'll say this is one thing I want to say because I actually want to actually pivot the conversation a little bit different. But one thing I will say this, right? Timing matters? Of course it does. But how it matters and how you do it is also another contingency that you have to put out. Because again, I'm not saying just because, one of this, movie number 1 hit, we got to get back out there. No, slow your roll, slow your pace. Make sure you make it make sense first before you put it out there. Because the moment you don't, it just sucks. So I understand, especially from a standpoint of watching anime and respecting what they do and knowing that the creators are dying because they're literally losing their lives on their whole health. Like, I'm not rushing nobody to do nothing. But what I am going to sit here and say is, don't make me wait like almost at a glance,
10 years.
like 4+ years.
Or
at a
10
glance.
years.
For a new movie story. Because it sort of seemed like that at that point, it's like you wasn't really thinking about it at all. Like, you're really just throwing that away.
That's one thing Marvel did really well. I'm sorry to cut you off, Wally, but Marvel did well when Marvel was running the MCU. Chris Evans signed up for multiple movies. I think he's, if I remember correctly, 3 Captain America and about 4 or 5 Avengers or whatever it was. He signed up for multiple roles, so he knew the time limit. They had to hit that time limit no matter what, because the contract said that when he signed up for it.
And they would break in between without a will. Without trying to say the same thing happened with Lord of the Rings.
I'm not disagreeing with that, David.
Right, but hold on. But let me try it back though, because the main point of why I'm saying timelines, because again, timelines, they work how they work. It is what it is. Because my thing is with Star Wars, because I ain't gonna lie, because a lot of people can, because the way Star Wars worked, honestly, because the way how they set it up, that was like present, back, and then slide it forward. So they did that in a nice, unique way of time skipping, like back, forth, and present timeline. So they did it well to the point that they showed it off in a very convincing way. My thing was with it is that was done well, and I'm cool with that, right? But now, from standpoint, because this is where I want to sort of shift it a little bit, because it's like, because this is my thing, right? And I said this before about even when you're a creator and you give away your work or you sign away your work, did you even know what was intended for your work after you give it away? And that right there for me is like, if you gave away your work to somebody and you have no idea of intentions of what they're planning on doing with your work in any way, shape, and form, why give it away? Because you pretty much just put the knife right in the chest and say bye-bye.
And that
wasn't the plan, though. Again, he went, from what I understand, he went into the deal with the scripts, with 7, 8, 9 ready. It was under the pretense that they were set. Now, was that in writing? Probably no. But he went into it with that understanding.
But see, that's that bullshit. I'm sorry. That's that bullshit. When are we gonna start taking things serious where we say, hey, okay, cool, I get that, thank you, give me in writing?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying your initial promise is like your initial statement was, if you don't know if they're going to have a plan for your work. Now, again, keep in mind, the person who negotiated the deal was Kathleen Kennedy. And she sold them on, they intend to do your work. So, again, I put, certainly, could he have been more forceful in terms of insisting on that? Yes. I think she betrayed him. I think there's a lot of blame, I guess, to go around. And the fact that he didn't have, like I said earlier, he did not have a natural successor in the preservation of the property. There's a lot to go around. I'm not saying he's not blameless, because like I said, as soon as he sold it, he said, and he found out, he's like, oh yeah, that was a mistake. But he was so fatigued from the fan base And he was like, "Y'all can have this. I'm done. I don't want to deal with the criticism and whatnot." And they forced him out.
And Mr. Bennett, when you said that, I was saying on the live here, Wally, this is why the creator and the writer of the Bleach franchise say F the fans.
David, but here's my continuous. Well, first and foremost, hold on right there. But okay, so you said that Lucas got tired of the fan base.
Oh yeah.
Well, what was exactly was being mentioned amongst the fan base that
everything that you could possibly mention, how horrible the prequels were, and now it's funny how history is such how the prequels were so great. But at the time, he was getting trashed. I was there. You remember? I don't know how old you were.
I was old enough to know the movies.
And he was getting trashed. Everybody. Jar Jar Binks was the worst character of all time.
Okay.
Hayden Christensen, the Jake Lloyd. The guy is a mental case right now because the fan base, guy couldn't go to school. The guy was dysfunctional. A kid.
Okay.
You had Star Wars fans coming after a kid.
What in the world?
So I'm just saying.
I'll give you an example.
The venom was, hot.
Well, okay,
forget
wait.
the universe. Forget Darth Maul. Forget the double-sided lightsaber. Forget all of that. Jake Lloyd was awful. Hayden, Jar Jar Binks was awful, and they couldn't get over that. And the guy got roasted.
Okay, so this is where I'll sit here and say this real quick because this is where now I want to visually change the conversation. If that's the case, this is why I'll say this, right? Now, David, you were trying to talk about Tate Kubo, about his commentary. And let me tell you about some Tate Kubo. Fuck no. Look, I said this once, I'll say it again. Constructive criticism matters. It matters.
Listen.
But what I'm saying is this. There's fan bases that are dumb and stupid, and then there's fan bases that actually care.
No,
I'm saying
if you are an artist, I think your attitude also should be middle finger to everybody. If you don't like my product, you don't patronize.
But that's what I'm saying.
But again, hang on, constructive criticism is only valid if you ask for it. If he was feeling people saying, "How can I make Star Wars better? What kind of stories you like to see?" Fine, you want to give your input there because you asked for it.
Right, but what I'm saying is this, David. Okay, go ahead.
If you're trashing it, nobody asked you. It's either spin the box office or not. You got people saw the movie 4, 5, and 6 times, and each time they trashed it, but you went back 4, 5, 6 times.
No, and I hear all that, but what I'm saying is this.
I'm not. So again, I think. Again, when he came out with the special editions, the fact that he changed the scene where Han Solo shot Guido, he made Guido shoot first. They were trashing him. People hadn't seen Star Wars in the movie theater in 20 years. Brought it back. The lines, I was there when you went to the movies and lines were around the block trying to get into the movie theater to see it. Star Wars was back. The magic was back. People were wait for hours to get into a theater to watch Star Wars again. It took you right back to 1977. And they trashed them for that one change in the scene. That's all you heard about. Hand shot first. That was a meme going on for years. So my thing is this. I agree with you. He should have been more like, F you guys. I'm going to do what I want to do. And if you don't like it, don't patronize my product. If you would have came out with a statement with that, I would have approved that. And no, I had no issue with it. But the guy was constantly being, for all the work that he put in, his own money to make this franchise. And you got these it's like smart marks in wrestling, right? You got all these smart marks who think they know more. Trying to tell him how to do his product. And after a while, he just said, F it, I'm out.
See, Wally?
And now you got all these people talking about how great
see
the
Wally
prequels
nothing,
were.
David, because I'm still gonna go in.
So,
David, let me ask you something. How do you feel about WWE's work right now? Thank you. That's one point.
So I'll back up, Paul. Like when they did the Return of the Sith, I believe, with
Revenge of the Sith.
Anakin, Anakin versus Obi-Wan. That was one of the best fight scenes in the whole series. Back then, it was the worst scene ever. Don't get me started when they give me shit about using CG for Yoda.
And
Oh
all
my
the
God.
crap that Hayden Christensen got when he came in for Attack of the Clones. Oh, he's awful. I mean, the guy, he's creepy. He's
The
like,
kid who played Anakin in the first one.
that's Jake Lloyd. Like I said, the guy's got mid-ones. He's got an arrest record. The guy is Star Wars. He's ruined his life.
Yeah, because the last big movie he did was Star Wars. He did a couple, one or two after that, but they were no near Star Wars level.
Now, let me tell you this, Tuwali.
Hold on, no, pause, because I need to talk. I've been hearing y'all.
Let him flow. Let him flow, David.
But
Like,
right
give it
now, okay. So
Give
watch
it,
this. Let me give
give it a big
you
screen.
an
Give it a
example.
big screen. Give him the big screen.
I don't need the big screen. Here's my example. I want to throw the example. How do you feel about the Green Goblin in Spider-Man's first movie? About this costume?
I think it was horrible.
You think it was horrible?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Oh,
I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay. David, what was your problem?
And I thought, as far as
problem?
the guy who played Green Goblin,
Mhm.
Willem Dafoe.
No, I like Willem Dafoe, but
Mhm.
I
just the
did too.
costume.
I think it was kind of horrible.
Okay. I heard a lot of people talk about the costume. I never heard it to this degree, but maybe because, social media wasn't out yet. But here's my thing, right? Everyone was like, they trashed it. I've started hearing commentations that they didn't like the costume and everything. Okay, so you want to have a goblin from a TV series or from the comics that you've seen, have a nice costume with the rags, with all this and everything else. All right, great. I didn't see nothing wrong with the goblin suit.
Yeah.
If you told me, look at a mystical creature of a goblin and you give me that creature and you give me that thing, that looks good to me. Because again, how are you going to get the mutation? And if that's the case, truthfully, the actual costume, give me the mutational visual of a person like that. You got a bodysuit. That's fine with me, personally. Especially knowing that he was made, this was all made of an idea of what? Of military grade status?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I look at this and I say to myself, someone will always say something, right? One way or another. But the thing is, you hate it to a point that you automatically believe it was that ugly or that disgraceful. I'm supposed to believe a guy that's a goblin in a freaking suit, like looks regular, was supposed to be scarier than the person that's actually in that fucking movie. If someone told me today, who are you more scared of? Who you are more likely to run away from? The movie version goblin or the goblin that was in that freaking comic book or in the TV series, in the anime series? I'm running away from that mofo in the damn suit. You got me messed.
Absolutely.
So what world are we thinking?
Absolutely.
Now let me tailor this back real quick. Okay, but this is the reason why I say this when it comes to fan base. For me, and this is my visual, I'll live with it, I don't care. But to a level of degree, I'm seeing the fan base talk about my work. And there are people that will trash it, and there are people that will say, I was wondering why you didn't went this way, or whatever. So, okay, fine. There's going to be a degree of people that I listen to that's going to trash it and be whatever. Throw that in the trash. I don't care nothing about you. Then there's going to be people wondering, well, why you didn't went this way or that way, or you went this path. You know what? I would be humble enough to listen to that because only for one reason only. If you're asking why I didn't went this direction, here's the reason why I didn't went this direction, why I'm not telling the story from this point from right now. And I would explain that. Why? Because I have a fair nicehood to the fan base that's looking at my work. Because again, at the end of the damn day, I don't care what no one say, including Tate. You do not have your work without the freaking people watching your work. So your success is nothing without the people.
Ooh.
I don't give a fuck.
And he's right.
And if you tell me it's able to happen without us, I'll kill TV for my life because you got me fucked up. Rappers can't be rappers without the people buying their CDs and listening to them. You don't have no credibility without the people listening to you. You don't got nothing. So how the hell do you have the work or you have some type of popularity without people actually watching your work? You do not create box offices without people buying the tickets.
You can watch the work, Wally. But to try to tell me how to do my work, oh no.
I'm not trying to, no, but that's the thing. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your work.
Yes, you are. I mean, and I'm saying the Star Wars fan, yes, they were.
They were. But I'm not. I'm curious. I'm saying, as someone that took time to listen to your work and everything else, For instance, when it comes to anime, when we talk about anime, I would question why they didn't did this, or why they didn't came here, or why they didn't pick this story. That's what I would ask. But I'm not gonna tell you where to go with it. I'm just asking why you didn't explain this part, or why this
but
wasn't
you
in
said
there.
you asked a question. You didn't
Yes.
say it sucked.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. For that fan base side, I would throw that in the trash and not listen to it because they
It's
don't got
millions of people. You don't know
I
how much
understand
that
that.
is.
But that's what I'm saying. But Paul, I'm saying there has to be a level set where we have to realize there is shit talkers and then there's actually people that care. Who are the people that care? Focus on them. Fuck the shit talkers. Because the shit talkers gonna keep on talking, but the shit talkers are still watching your work.
Let
Them
you
hate in
get.
peace.
I'd be very interested if you had that. If you get in bags of hundreds of thousands of fan mail every day talking about how awful your product is.
I would be right there looking at it like next, next. I'll swing it left and right all day because it's trash to me. If I can tell what you're saying is not potent, not really respecting or literally even trying to stand on the continuity of what I'm building, I won't listen to you. But if you are someone that's curious of the continuity and why I went this direction, I would actually question out your question. I'll give you that thought process why I went this way, so you have an understanding.
And I'm sure he's done that.
But
you know, all those Star Wars conventions, which I'm sure he went at, all those Q&A panels, which all these people are at, you got an opportunity for a person like yourself to go up and ask a question, which he addressed. But when you talk about Jake Lloyd sucks, Hayden Christensen sucks, Jar Jar Binks sucks, George Lucas has lost his mojo, he needs to get out of Star Wars because he doesn't know what he's doing. When those voices get loud, and God forbid if there was social media back then, imagine. Because again, the guy with the loudest megaphone oftentimes gets the smoke. It doesn't matter how much praise you get. The guy with the biggest microphone, he usually gets a lot of that. Thank goodness he didn't have social media. Otherwise, he might have sold his company years later. We might not have gotten
eventually
the
anybody, Paul. I'm backing you up on that. But let's start getting our final thoughts. Paul, you go first. Dave second, and Wiley last.
This has been lovely tonight. I haven't gotten my dander up since the movie versus book discussion. So I came in with some fire tonight. But this, I will say that again, there's a lot of people who are to blame for the state of Star Wars that is in, including George Lucas himself, which he readily admitted. But again, Star Wars will never be Star Wars again unless George Lucas is involved. His work, his material, his ideas. Disney can't do it. Kathleen Kennedy can't do it. Pick your director. Can't do it. I don't even know if his son could do it. But George has to be part of this mix and given serious autonomy and control, which he had to fight for years in making the original trilogies in order to produce what we got. And again, I just love the fans now who love episodes 1, 2, and 3. You were killing it back then. I saw you. I heard you guys. And it's just amazing. You just want to run away from history, but you can't. And like I said, that's why I'm a little bit bitter about this. I'm torn. Would I love to see Star Wars great again? Yes. But I don't think this fan base, there's a lot of segments of this fan base that don't deserve it. You got to live with what you made. Enjoy episodes 1 through 6 and Rogue One. And that's all for me personally for the rest of my life. If I never see another Star Wars movie, I'm good with that. Shout out to 1977. I was there. I was 8. And I'm good. But for everybody else lampooning for another one, I can't. God help you. So I'm good with it. Done.
Hey, it's beer pour. I'll say this. I enjoyed this show. This is a good show that we had a real debate and we bought our I can't even say 2 cents. We bought a bag of dime and then some. But we'll talk. I have to agree to Bennett. The fans pushed George Lucas to press the nuke button of the Star Wars franchise. And in some way, shape, or form, they are the reason why they forced them to sell his right to the IP. I think this is something we need to start carrying for every other franchise that have been sabotaged and looking why it was being sabotaged and see if it can be brought back or not. This is why when we do our Anime Unlock show, we're not playing around. We said in our own show, no anime is safe. So I'm thinking you might have to change the model for this platform on this show every Saturday. No movie is safe. No director is safe. No TV director is safe. No TV series is safe. If your shit sucks, your shit sucks. If your shit sign is shit sign. If your thing got issue, we have the right to critique it. I think this is how we want to have this type of conversation because if not, you're not gonna see the type of passion you see coming out of me, Waller, or Mr. Bennett. Because let's keep it real. There was a lot of bullshit that took place under the Star Wars franchise in the hand of Disney. Disney is the main culprit right here. Disney have lost its vision a long time ago, and all they've been doing is diddying up every IP, thinking how much money can squeeze out of it. So I'll keep it real. I don't think Star Wars could ever be safe again or could be done again unless you're willing to take that investment and do a hard reboot. And now Joe Lucas is old. How are you sure he want to come back from his retirement and do anything with the franchise? So that being said, I think we should have the next time we talk about Star Wars to talk about the funeral and lay this thing to rest because there's no coming back if you're not willing to do what is necessary needed to get it done. But if you're not going to, then let it die out. Let it take its last time, give it a good funeral, bury it, and let it go. We'll talk. Because this is an excellent conversation needed to be had. And we have people speaking objectively based on the multiple angle why it failed and what could have been done to fix it. And then what I said, when you wait too long to fix this, it's too late. It had expired. The ship has sailed. What do you expect what do you expect to happen? So I think the next time doing another topic about a movie or a franchise, we need to start taking roll our sleeve and be like, you know what? We'll see if we can criticize it or give it a pop when needed. If not, it's what it is. So this is Black David, aka Bearport, with my final thought. I'm gonna keep it in 100.
Uh, ladies and gentlemen of the corn, all the Spartans out there, I stand with a very strong shield and sword when I sit here and say this once, and I always say this once. Just like these movies are important to be told by the writer and the authors of them, it is also very important of the respectable fan base. And if you're not respectable, get the fuck out of here, because no one didn't need your commentation in the first place. Literally, I'm gonna still stand on this to the very day until I die. I don't give a rat's. Like, no matter what, there is a balance to be had within these things to the very end. You make it, people watch it, people say yay or nay, people have something in the middle to say. Hopefully, it's respectful. And then, hey, look, we go on our merry day. But at the end of the day, no one is getting successful without people watching. But people ain't getting nothing if people ain't creating. Let people build, let people make their process, let people finish out the thing. Because if you don't see it in its full totality, because I'll say this, even when it comes to movies, even when it comes to TV series, you always got to watch everything play out to finally get that aha moment. There will be a moment where you feel like, oh, this is trash. But when they put that aha moment in there for you, and then you'd be like, oh, that's why that happened. Then you'd be like, damn, that's actually great. And that's the whole point. It can't be great until you let someone finish it out. So at the end of the day, to the question at hand, can Star Wars come back from the dead? Yeah. Just bring Lucas back in and let him retake his project. And let him have creative control. And then he needs to find a successor to keep the project going and let that person do homework by sitting there and look at all the freaking material, start to finish, to understand where to take it to the next generations. My commentary is done.
All right, guys, thank you for coming on tonight. It was an interesting show. Where is my thoughts? I don't think a hard reboot is going to help. A soft reboot. I'm still sticking my guns with a soft reboot. Stop rolling your eyes at me, David. A soft reboot will definitely do justice, I think. But Paul is right. We scared away George Lucas. You had some incredible actors in the first three. You have even better actors from 4, 5, and 6. The fuck happened to the rest of the movies? Disney happened. Anything Disney puts its hands on destroys it. Look what happened to Marvel. Look what happened to Tron. Look what happened to Pirates of the Caribbean. Anything they touch, destroy it. So let's do a quick schedule update, guys. Where are we? So tomorrow on Gray Area, should be a call-in show, I'm not mistaken. And let's do, where are we? Okay, so on Tuesday, we're talking about dating 2025. Why it's so hard? Yes, David, you're going to be there for this one. And Sean is definitely going to have a show. And you guys are having Rank the Top Anime Creators on Friday. Oh, Paul, what's the show topic this week? You guys need to give that to me.
Again, I got to give a coach because with his schedule and whatnot. So again, I think the genesis would be we may have a part 2 of your
That's fine.
Being a martial arts
Hey,
instructor show.
Shout out to Jedi
What's that?
Mike.
Yep.
He made a video about this too. Okay, cool. Okay, so what's maybe okay, definitely gonna be a show. We're not sure what the topic is, so guys, stay tuned on that one. Like I said, they're talking about the top anime creators, and next Saturday we're gonna talk about Fox Kids versus WB Kids, the War of Wars. Accept that, guys.
AKA the war of teenagers.
Nobody can hear you, David. Put your mic down.
Or in the cafeteria over which was better, Channel 5 or Channel 11, right?
Smash Mouth. Bink.
Anyway, guys, this was Operation Hangout on the Spartan Execute Network. I am the Spartan. He is the president. Baby Groot.
Bear paw.
As always, guys, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.